Well, at some point, the Jets had to come crashing back down to earth, and boy, did they ever in this game. I know that a lot of you guys come to us, me and Justin Free, Luciano and Justin Free, the Jet Press podcast, for some incendiary takes, for some excruciating commentary about the state of the New York Jets. Normally, a 34-10 loss at home to a division rival and your cool new uniforms would have been the cause for that. I can't really muster those same emotions this time for a couple of reasons. Number one, Brady Cook had to play the majority of the game. So this is not only a backup quarterback, this is a backup to the backup who is probably not an NFL player, is probably going to get a couple more games in here or there, maybe if Tyrod is hurt with the groin, and then that'll be Brady Cook's NFL career. And as we saw in this game, while hurt by some drops, probably not an NFL quarterback. So I can't really get too mad at him. I can't get too mad at how they responded after being put in a hole of their own making that was too deep to come out of, I thought, and as it proved, it was. I think what we're seeing right now with this Jets team is a team that believes in Aaron Glenn, a team that is fighting for Aaron Glenn, but they just don't have the horses. And when you play teams like Cleveland and you play teams like Atlanta and you play teams like Cincinnati when they don't have Joe Burrow, heart and guile and grit, all those things can help you win. When you play even Miami, a division rival who's fully healthy with your third string quarterback, unfortunately, the pixie dust just runs out, and now they are a 3-win team. As is pointed out by Jeff, Tankathon has them up to 6. The draft order is ever-changing right now. The Titans may actually end up beating the Browns, so if that holds, we may have three 2-win teams and 5 3-win teams. So it is getting very crowded as the New Orleans Saints have won. They're now 3-10. That could be very advantageous for the Jets. So we'll figure out all that as Justin Fried. Thank you for joining us here on the Jet Press Podcast. You know where to find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Overcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And we're on YouTube at the Jet Press. You can subscribe. You can like the stream. That really helps. You can comment and chat. That really helps push us up. Hyping the video, joining our membership, all these things help push us up those charts. Justin, I don't want to say apathetic about this game, but when you play Brady Cook for 3 quarters, and as he showed for most of that, like he was certainly not helped out by his supporting cast, but you did not see a guy who's going to be a long-term NFL quarterback. You saw a guy who's a third-string quarterback who looked like a third-string quarterback. Even with the inspired, I guess, relatively defensive effort in the second half, considering where they were and who they have, because how hurt they are. This is what happens when an undermanned team just straight up runs out of gas. And this team, in my opinion, with all the injuries too, they ran out of gas. Not Aaron Glenn's fault. That's just where they are right now as a team.
Yeah, I mean, defensive letdown the first half, really the first quarter. That was as bad to a start to a game that the Jets have had possibly all season, certainly within the last couple of months since they've been playing a lot better. Again, this team was 3-2 in their last 5 games. They've been playing their best ball of the season, but they came out flat. Defense got absolutely abused and just run all over by Devon Achane, by Jalen Waddle, and Tua started 8 of 8. But yeah, like you mentioned,
out, Tua had 20 yards passing for most of the final 3 quarters.
Yeah, he finished with 127 yards. I believe he had 20. He started 8 of 8 for 103 yards, and I believe after that finished 5 of 13 for, what would that be, 24 yards. So a much better performance from this Jets defense after that first start. But if you put yourself in a hole like that and you make as many what I would call bad team mistakes as the Jets made in this game, whether that's the John Mechie wide open drop touchdown, whether it's the Arian Smith failing to down that punt, which you should have them down at the 3-yard line there, and you just can't reestablish yourself in the field of play, like stuff like that. You just can't make those mistakes. And there were just a ton of those mistakes from the Jets. Michael Walker had a walk-in pick 6 and just could not corral it, right? Like it's stuff like that.
That's why they don't have any picks.
Right. It's stuff like that the Jets have done a lot this season. And it's just, man, if you're playing a lot of shitty players out there, those shitty players are more likely to make shitty mistakes. So if you combine the hole that they put themselves in, the numerous bad team gaffes that the mistakes that they made, and again, like you mentioned, Mike, they were playing a third string practice squad undrafted rookie quarterback for the vast majority of this game. And Well, I don't think Cook was an abject disaster. I think it definitely could have gone worse. See what Max Brosmer just did in Minnesota last week. It absolutely could have been worse than
Better than
this.
Max Brosmer. Hang the
Yes,
banner.
it certainly could have been worse. Genuinely, I've seen Jets quarterbacks play worse this year. I don't think this was even the worst quarterbacking performance the Jets have gotten this year, which does not say much about Brady Cook. Says more about the quarterbacking that Justin Fields had done in a couple of games this season. By the way, Browns, did they just tie the game?
You bet they did. Well,
They got
they
the
at least scored a touchdown.
Okay,
They failed the 2-point conversion.
They failed the 2-point?
Yep.
Because that is a huge game for Jets draft position. We'll talk about that, by the way. We'll probably get into Fernando Mendoza and a little bit of the games yesterday as well, because it's not, I don't know how much we want to analyze about this game, but that is a huge game for Jets draft position. Shout out Tyler Shuck and the New Orleans Saints for picking up a big win today over Baker Mayfield.
Sanders, by the way, has, so that would be 393 total yards and 4 touchdowns.
For Shador?
Yeah.
Bro. Stick with him, Cleveland. You don't need a quarterback. Don't worry. Draft another edge rusher. It's okay. You're fine. Put Arvell
Spencer Fano. Take him.
Yeah, you need an offensive lineman so bad. Overdraft one. It's okay. You're fine.
But we need Shador to ball out. We need Tyler Shuck to ball out.
Yeah. Do they have any?
I think the Raiders are taking Mendoza. I think that's where he's going.
Well, it's going to be who trades up at this point. I would assume, unless the Raiders get the first overall pick. Which now that Tennessee is, are they going to? Is that game like over? How many timeouts they got?
The Titans have 2 timeouts. The Browns have 2 timeouts. So probably over.
They have a chance to get the ball back.
Oh, they did like a Quinshon Judkins trick play throw for the 2-point and missed.
Kevin's dude. Oh my God, the amount of Josina Anderson tweets you're going to see about that play.
Oh my God,
taking it out of Shador's hands
on purpose. Yeah.
Oh no, but yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that in a moment. Just this game, I guess. Again, you combine all those things. It's not a game that the Jets really had any chance of winning. This was pretty much over in the first quarter. I thought they showed enough fight hanging in there. And if they had better quarterback performance, they probably make this a competitive game because the defense did play well in the second half. And as per usual, the Jets special teams was outstanding. The only points that they scored in this game.
There are multiple games this year now where the special teams are a better way of scoring points than the offense.
Dude, they scored 10 points in this game. 7 of them came on an Isaiah Williams punt return touchdown. The other 3 came because they got a fake punt on the drive. They scored a field goal. That's the only time they scored this game was because of the special teams.
I fear at some point, I know they don't hire a lot of special teams coaches after Joe Judge. They may look at Chris Banjo.
Too early.
Not now. I'm like in the future. If he keeps this up, it's just a shame this all-time great special teams unit is being wasted with Brady Cook and Justin Fields.
I know. Well, again, they
can't be this good again next year.
You would assume they can't be. The silver lining, though, is that a lot of these pieces should still be back next year. And if Banjo is the architect behind it, he's likely not going anywhere. By the way, Shane Steichen not confirming to reporters, but confirming it's an Achilles injury for Daniel Jones.
Oh,
and
that
it is not.
That's terrible.
And that it is not looking great.
But that's not sarcastic because it helps. That genuine is
no, it's awful. Obviously, look, it helps the Jets. There's a very real chance that the Colts miss the playoffs at this stage, which we've been rooting against the Colts. But just since that trade has happened, Sauce calf injury, right? And a play that we all like, people were like, "Oh my God, is that an Achilles?" Right? Non-contact calf injury for Sauce. He's gonna miss. He misses this week. He's gonna miss some time. Maybe he's gonna be back by the regular season. I don't even know if they make the playoffs at this point. And then Daniel Jones tears Achilles. I mean, you could not have asked for a more disastrous couple of weeks for the Indianapolis Colts. And at this stage, that pick is probably looking pretty good for the Jets.
It's nobody's fault either. It's just
it just sucks. It sucks for Indy. Obviously, it's a huge break for the Jets, but you feel for Daniel Jones. That is
the Cardinals are up early on the Rams. That might help. Especially if there's no Kyler, that might help too for the Jets. We need to worry about them too now.
And that is very true. They will be they could be in the quarterback market. Atlanta, I don't know if Atlanta is going to be, because obviously that's the Rams pick, and I would have some level of concern about them taking a quarterback, but Atlanta does have 4 wins. So surely there's just going to be too many teams with 2 or 3 wins that are probably.
Well, they don't have their pick though. So
no, I know, but the Rams, I would be concerned. I would be concerned.
I don't think I don't think they go that high.
It depends what happens with Stafford.
Remember win now draft pick?
Well, it just depends what happens with Stafford. If the Rams win the Super Bowl and Stafford rides off into the sunset.
Yeah. Well, there were some rumors from Graziano who said if Stafford does do that, they're probably going to start a veteran anyway next year. So
they can do both. They can get a vet and use, because when are they going to have a top pick? I mean, I guess if they are bad next year. But I don't know.
But anyway, over to the Jets. Like,
Yeah.
like, what do you want us to scream and yell about? Is it Brady Cook being bad? Is it everybody getting hurt?
I don't think anyone's
Azaria Thomas, Mawagoa, Taylor, Tyler Barron.
Yeah.
Had to be 4 or 5 guys. Barely any of either their week 1 starters or projected starters when healthy are playing. But Brownlee was hurt. Thomas now, Mawagoa. The defensive line is relatively healthy, but the depth is banged up. The safety room is as banged up as you could possibly be. They're on quarterback number 3. Like, normally, like, if you showed us this scoreline in a game we thought they'd win on the last podcast, if you showed us this scoreline, I'm sure both of us would be like, oh my God, Aaron Glenn, what the hell happened?
You picked the Jets win. I picked the Jets. I said, I think I picked a 20, I think it was 24-10 is what I said final score.
Did you? Oh yeah, you may have.
I think I said letdown game coming. I didn't say this on the show, and obviously I don't want to predict injuries, but I was talking to my dad before this game, and I'm like, this feels like a game Tyrod gets hurt. Tyrod just had his best game with the Jets. Feels like a game we're going to see Brady Cook, and unfortunately, we did. Zach Ertz, by the way, confirmed tears his ACL. That is
oh my God,
very unfortunate.
Terrible week of football, man.
It is. I don't know if you saw
everybody's hurt and low scoring and backups, and
that replay was disgusting too. I don't know if you saw that. Don't seek it out.
I think that's it for his career too.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I think that's
very unfortunate break with the Saints winning and the Browns officially losing. So that game's officially over. Yeah,
I believe so.
So the Jets are still 7th. They have not moved up in the draft order because of the tiebreaker, but obviously that Saints matchup.
Washington being this bad after last year is frustrating.
It is, but they're not going to draft the quarterback, so that's not a concern. It's really just the Jets are going to have to move up to draft the quarterback. By the way, we're barely going to talk about this game.
You out on Simpson already?
I don't think he declares at this point. I would be surprised if Ty Simpson is in this draft class. There's a real good chance it's just Mendoza, Mike. Like that's a real possibility.
There's no Dante Moore would be, especially because Will Stein left Oregon to be the Kentucky coach.
I think Moore should come to the draft, like enter the draft. I agree with you. I don't know. There's been just a lot of mixed reporting on that. A lot of people in the know saying that the expectation has been that he will not declare. And I don't know. I hope he does. If it's a 2 quarterback draft, I'm assuming at this stage right now that the first 2 picks are going to be quarterbacks. If Dante Moore is in the draft, that's it.
I got 2 words for him before his process: Drew Waller, and then I'm gonna
yes,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. Like
Matt Barkley, that's another one.
He should declare. And now I do think he would probably be better off going to a situation where he could sit for a year. That's just given the little experience.
Sit for a year with the Jets. They get him.
He can. He absolutely can. He could sit for a year with, realistically, any team that's going to draft him, they should sit him for a year.
Raiders still got Geno. They can sit him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the 2 top picks are going to be quarterbacks, and I think the Raiders are getting one of them. The second one, it could be the Jets, could be the Browns. Those are the teams right now.
I'm thinking it's not the Saints after this game.
No, I don't think it's going to be the Saints. I do think Arizona is in the mix. But how aggressive are they going to be to trade up?
We'll get into Kyler talk a little bit before we kind of like wrap up this game and get to some comments from the game.
Yeah.
What do you think of Wilkes after this game? Because I like Chris Banjo A++ mega plus higher. Tanner Engstrand probably more good than bad, I would say, for
Absolutely.
Tanner Engstrand.
Agreed.
Especially considering what the hell he's working with. Wilkes has been the obvious, the bad hire. I keep waffling between this guy stinks. He has no interceptions, and it's December 7th, and he can't get an interception, even though Michael Walker, that's not Steve Wilkes' fault that he dropped that. But like, part of me is like, man, this guy sucks, and I think he does in general. And part of me is like, look at this roster. Like, what does he have to do? The fact that he can go hold the Ravens to 3 points in the first half, be right there with the Patriots, basically have Tua do nothing for 3 quarters of the 4 after they dug themselves a crazy hole. Like, I really go back. Like, every time I'm ready to make a firm decision on if Wilkes is really good or not, he kind of goes the other way. Every time I start saying not his fault, then it's the other way. Every time I start blaming him, goes the other way.
I think it's probably a floor versus ceiling discussion. I think the Jets defense could be worse, but I definitely don't think Steve Wilkes is maximizing the talent that they have. Now, they are very injured, and it's not a very talented defense anyway. And you traded away your 2 blue chip talents on defense midseason, and you have Jordan Clark and Isaiah Oliver and Michael
Quantez.
Walker and Quantez Stigger is playing significant reps out there. I mean, it's hard to ask for a ton of production. And like you said, they did do a good job against Tua for the most part after that really hot start. But they were run through in this game. Like Tua didn't have to do
Which is
anything.
surprising because
Yeah.
of how normally good they are at stopping the run.
Miami averaged 5.8 yards per carry on 41 attempts. They were just consistently gashing this Jets defense.
This is really not prisoner of the moment. Why is Devon Achane not talked about as like one of the best backs in the league?
I don't know.
He averages almost 6 yards a carry for his career.
He definitely is in fantasy circles because of the pass catching production that he's able to put up. But yeah, he's an awesome player. He is. I think it's just because he came into the league and people expected him to be more of this gadget, like change of pace guy. And he's turned into just an every down, like all around amazing running back.
He's like a new Jamal Charles, but smaller.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He got hurt in this game. He only carried the ball 7 times, had 92 yards. Also added a 13-yard catch in there as well. Jalen Wright, 24 carries, a career high, 107 yards. 3 rushing touchdowns. This Jets defense was gashed. And again, I don't know how much of that is talent, but I will say they have their starting linebackers out there. And I was not particularly impressed with their starting linebackers in this game. I think Sherwood's been better than people think he's been at points this year.
Especially lately.
But it's just clear that they need size. Like they desperately need size in this linebacker room. And whether that means you're targeting a guy like Sonny Styles, in the first round, if you're not trading up for a quarterback. Because if you're trading up for a quarterback, likely saying goodbye to the Indianapolis pick. But the good part about it is the higher that pick is, the less the Jets have to give up. So even the Colts losing still does benefit them, even if the Jets are not using that pick to draft a player. But they need size at linebacker. And I thought the interior of this defense was just getting pushed around. They got bullied today. And, maybe that's the defensive tackle room, which has been good at points this year, especially, Jawan Briggs and Harrison Phillips, I think, have been punching way above their weight class, better than what we thought they'd be. But yeah, the interior of that defense and their linebacker room was really bad. And I thought the safety play in this game was especially bad too.
But again, it's Malachi Moore and converted corner Isaiah Oliver. I mean, what do you want?
It was a lot of big plays too. Like I don't think that like the down to down success rate was as bad as the 34 points allowed would suggest.
First quarter it was. And then,
first quarter, every single play they did work.
I don't think they had a negative play in the first quarter.
No, the first 2 drives, really the first 3 drives. The third drive, I'll give the defense a little bit of leeway because Miami started it, at whatever yard line because it was the turnover, right? Isn't that the first interception from Cook? So they started it like very, at like the 30-yard line. But the first 2 drives, Miami drives down the field. Jets offered 0 resistance.
Let's get to some comments because this game gave us precious little to really analyze.
Yeah, it's not much.
Jeff, are the Jets really going to rock the rest of the season with Brady Cook?
Well, so this is wild because obviously Tyrod, you have the groin. I would not expect him to play next week. The fact that he didn't, I don't even think he came back to the.
How's Fields' knee boo-boo doing?
Fields has the knee injury, and this is going to be really interesting because when Aaron Glenn talked to reporters on Friday, he was asked about Fields' status moving forward, and he did not sound like a coach that believes Fields will play next week. However, that was when he was expected to be the backup, right? Now you might need him to start. I don't know what that situation is going to be. My gut tells me Justin Fields starts on Sunday. That's my gut. But it's possible that knee injury is worse than we think it is, and it's actually like a legit thing that's keeping him sidelined. And if that is the case, you have one quarterback. So, I mean, either way, they're going to be bringing in guys for tryouts and workouts. I would keep an eye on Desmond Ridder because they brought him in for a workout.
He's been on every team this year.
They brought him in for a workout earlier this year. He was just cut from the Vikings practice squad, which kind of tells you what you need to know about Desmond Ridder, given the quarterback play we have seen for Minnesota.
Hey, 9-1 today.
He did. 9 did win.
I think he threw 3 touchdowns today.
He did. Yeah, it's tough. Who they play?
Washington,
that's right. And then Jaden got hurt. He was apparently it was precautionary that kept him out. But
Mariota's a bridge guy's looking less appealing.
I mean, it's any bridge guy is gonna be bad. But yeah, I would keep an eye on Ridder. I'd keep an eye on Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Is another name that they brought in earlier this year. CJ Beathard, I believe he's on the Lions practice squad now, but they also brought him in. They're gonna have to add a quarterback or 2 to this room. Maybe they even go call on Adrian Martinez. Maybe they sign because he's on the practice squad of the Niners. Maybe they sign Martinez to their active roster or something. I don't know, but they're going to have to add a quarterback to this room. I don't know. We'll see. My gut also says even if Fields is back, we see Brady Cook again this year. Like I don't think this is the last we've seen of him.
Regrettably. Brian Sternbeck, you knew this game would suck when they unveiled the Sewers uniforms.
I don't hate them.
I don't like them.
I don't hate them.
I can't. Is that green? Is that gray? Like I don't know.
It's like really dark greenish brown, which is not a great color.
Yeah, the color of poop. Okay.
What color's? Never mind.
Yeah, green is green. Okay, all right. Maybe I gotta go talk to a doctor.
I'm like, I don't know, Mike.
Is that healthy? Is
that the color of poop?
I don't know. That was the only. I have not eaten Taco Bell in over 10 years because of an incident that looks similar to the Jets uniforms today. So
anyway,
J-Mark.
I don't have strong opinions on jerseys normally, so maybe that's what it is. I don't care. I think they're fine. People were really upset, or some people were like, these are the best jerseys ever. Others were like, I hate these so much. I don't really care.
J-Mark. There are no takeaways. We knew what we already knew, and then maybe Mitchell and Mechie aren't that good. I mean, that's with this quarterback, it's hard to judge.
Well, there was bad.
They did have some drops, but
they both had drops. I thought both of them were not good today. Especially Mechie is just really.
Well, who was good today?
No, I know. I look. We got
Mason
into
Taylor.
We were talking, and even Taylor had drops. Taylor dropped 2 passes in this game. So
he never drops it. So
I think the Jets were credited with 5 drops and were 1 of 6 in contested catch situations. I mean, I don't think Brady Cook was particularly good, but also what do you expect from an undrafted third string rookie quarterback making his NFL debut? And as Josina Anderson would say, he had no first team reps in practice. He got
not hearing that as an excuse
virtually.
For anyone else.
I know, but he got virtually no time to prepare. I would not expect him to do well. And the best compliment I could give him is I think he survived. Like, he wasn't a complete disaster. I would have honestly expected worse. Like, this actually somewhat exceeded what I expected him to look like. I thought he made some nice throws, and I thought his receivers really let him down. He's clearly a third string undrafted quarterback making his debut. That's what he looked like. There were some deer in headlights moments, and he took 6 sacks, and a lot of that wasn't necessarily because the offensive line was bad. He fumbled the ball twice, threw 2 picks, one of which was an awesome play by Ethan Bonner, but I don't think he was awful. I don't think this was like a disastrous performance from Brady Cook.
Jake Fulkerson, lots of drops, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to look like people say Shedeur with the reps. Like, talent-wise, Shedeur Sanders and Brady Cook as prospects are way different. So there's more optimism for Shedeur with the appropriate amount of starter reps.
I had no big picture takeaways from Cook in this game other than I think he's not the worst undrafted quarterback I've seen this year. Like, I think he's a fine undrafted
better than Max Brosmer. That's the story of this game.
There's enough traits there that I think he can be a backup in this league. Like, I think he's an NFL player, at least has the potential to be an NFL player.
I don't.
Okay. I don't think this was that bad of a game. I really don't.
I feel like I was watching. Remember that one year the Giants had Jake Fromm?
This was better than Jake Fromm. This was not that bad.
But I'm getting...
If his receivers don't drop those passes, he ends up with 200 passing yards and completing like 55% of his passes.
He also had the 2 terrible picks too. So
the second one wasn't terrible. It was a garbage time interception. It was one.
I know, like situation. I mean, just
you're a Brady Cook hater. You're a Brady Cook hater.
Maybe because fans. Look, obviously we don't think Cook, even Justin's like more supportive. He doesn't think he's a particularly great player. But
no, he's not. It wasn't.
I think it's because I got calcified because people were like, not only do I want, either they want to lose the entire rest of the year, which is a loser mentality.
Sure.
Or they're like, no, Brady Cook is an upgrade over Justin Fields. Those were the takes I'm seeing. Like, he could be an upgrade. I'm like, are you sure?
About starting Cook over Taylor were always silly, but it's just people clinging on.
There were a lot of them.
I don't want to rag on Jets fans for clinging on to hope when the Jets officially today clinched their 15th consecutive season without making the playoffs. I'm not going to blame Jets fans for trying to cling on to any hope from any young quarterback that they have.
I will if there's nothing behind. It's like Zach, not like Brady, Zach, but like it's the same sort of thing. You can't just be like, well, let's hope.
I mean, if Cook was ass cheeks today, then I would have been like, all right, yeah, man, let's stop even talking about it. But I would like to see another Brady Cook start. I think it's worthwhile to see another one. I thought he did enough that maybe if he does a few things, I mean, I think right now he's on the roster next year as a third string quarterback. Like, whether that's practice squad or active roster, I'd be happy bringing him back as a developmental third string guy.
Vic, who apparently his profile picture is an AI rabbit with like it's got a 10-pack. It's got a Jets logo
Whoa.
and a Green Lantern ring.
Wait, I got to see this.
That is a hell of a pick.
Whoa. Okay.
I am big boy mad. We are sorry. Oh my god, you mean Brees Hall needs to go.
Sorry, I didn't read the rest of. What did he say? I just read big.
Fire the head coach prior to defensive.
Shut up!
Oh, come on.
Big Vic's a bot. Big Vic's not real.
I just needed that picture of Green Lantern Rabbit.
Big boy.
10-pack.
He's big boy mad though, Mike. He's big.
Brian Sternbeck, Sauce must think he's in hell. Poor guy.
I feel yeah.
Poor guy.
Quinnen's
winning.
The Jets have won more games since that trade than the Colts. No, the Colts have won one game.
Yeah, wasn't even in America too. It was in
crazy.
England. Overtime against the Falcons.
Sauce has won one game this year because the one game that the Jets won with Sauce on the roster, he didn't play, and he's gone to Indy and he's won one game since then. That is awful, dude. I feel so bad for him.
Slow runners having a meltdown here. Tennessee beat Cleveland, so we should continue to lose games.
Well,
Wilkes has to be fired. Jets D is trash. I'm looking for finally a thread of logic. Our linebackers, especially Sherwood, are trash. Finally a thread of logic.
I don't disagree with all of that. Like, I don't think that's horrific, all of that. Like, I think the Jets would be better off losing some of these games down the stretch. I would like them to lose to New Orleans. You know, I want the Jets to be competitive, but losing New Orleans, I think, would be beneficial for the team. I will say it again. I've been on record. I would like them to beat Buffalo. I think that'd be really fun. But yeah, I don't think it's like egregious to say fire Wilkes. Like expanding on my Wilkes take from earlier, I think there's a baseline with Wilkes where it's not awful right now. Like the defense did look good for 3/4 of this game, and I thought that that's a stretch to say that, but they think they bounced back well after a really bad start. They just got absolutely run over, but they held Tua in check for the majority of this game. And I don't think it was a horrific performance altogether, but it was definitely their worst defensive performance in a few weeks. I'm kind of rambling here and going in circles with what I'm saying, but I think you understand what I'm saying about what
I'm with you. Okay. Cook looks no better than Fields.
He said Cooks looks better than
Fields. Looks better than Fields. Yeah.
I think Fields has
I
think Fields has had about 2 games this year that were worse than this game. But that's also Fields was just egregiously terrible.
Brian Sternbeck, I'm only 99% joking when I say they should fire Glenn to make Banjo the head coach.
Banjo's been awesome, dude. Is there a special?
He's going to be a Mike Westhoff. He is going to have a job in the NFL as a coordinator for the rest of his life if he wants.
Is there a special teams coach of the year? Like, does any outlet give out that award? Because it's got to be.
I think so.
It has to be Banjo. I'm sure some outlet out there gives it out.
I'm just going to Google special teams coach of the year and see if it comes up.
NFL special teams coach of the year NFL.
No. No, there isn't.
We should.
There used to be, but
the Jet Press podcast should make our own special teams coach of the year and give it out to Chris Banjo this year. And we won't be biased. Moving forward, we could award it to anybody, but we'll make it this year specifically for Chris Banjo.
The Chris Banjo Memorial Award.
Memorial. He's alive.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Okay. Brandon R. with a good point that I actually agree with. There's no evaluation happening on offense when Cook is playing when there may have been with Taylor. Yeah. That's the biggest loss.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there was some. Like Cook wasn't unplayable bad. He gave his receivers.
He was just bad, not like
exactly.
He not was Fields against Denver bad.
He gave his receivers a chance to make some plays, and they weren't making them. Like Adonai Mitchell had a few drops in contested catch situations today. John Mechie had a wide open, blatant drop that should have been a walk-in touchdown. Mason Taylor had a couple of drops in this one as well. I agree that you lose evaluation because Brady Cook. I think Tyrod Taylor plays better than Cook did in this game. I don't think that should be a question. Start,
obviously,
yeah, I don't think that should be a question, but. He wasn't like completely unplayable, 0 evaluation levels bad, but you do lose some of that. I agree with that.
Let's talk some quarterbacks. J. Mark, if the season ends today, would you trade up for Mendoza? Here's the thing because I was thinking about this. It seems more likely than ever now that Kyler is not going to be back in Arizona.
Yes.
And I had some problems with that. But the more I thought about it, I don't think the league is viewing, like if they get him, I think with the way like his contract could be worked around, I don't think the league is viewing him as like this is a multi-year plan. It's not like Fields where it's a total shot in the dark, but I think anybody who acquires him is setting themselves up for in a year or 2 years we can get off this. So because of that, I'm more open than I was probably to you get Kyler for 2026. People are going to compare him to Fields. Kyler Murray's a way better passer. than Justin Fields, even in his, I guess, limited state. You get him for 2026. If he's bad, then they have 3 first-round picks. They can get their guy in 2027. I would rather trade up in 2027 for a guy like a Sayin or one of the other guys there than maybe trade up for, because right now I think the only guy worth trading up for is Mendoza. I think if they're in a position where more falls to them, I think you take him. I don't
think he falls. I don't think he's fall. If he's even in the draft, but I don't think Moore would fall.
Well, if Moore is there, or if you trade up like, I don't know, 7 to 5 or whatever, like, something not that big.
Sure.
Like if he's in your striking distance, I think you take him. Simpson, I have some reservations about.
I don't think Simpson is one. If Simpson were in the draft, I don't think he's a top 10 pick at this stage. 2, even if I just don't think he's in the draft. I really think he's going back to school at this point.
I still think I just think because this class is so weak, I think this is the time. This would be a time to declare if you're a fringe guy.
He's just been really bad the last month or so, like to a point where I don't think he should declare. I think it'd be a mistake for him to declare, even if he might still be a first round pick. I don't think he should declare.
I think Moore is the better prospect. I think
absolutely 100% at this stage. Yeah, for sure.
Mendoza right now, I think he's going to be the number 1 pick. I don't think whoever right now the Giants have him. They're not going to take Fernando Mendoza.
No, but they'll trade with someone.
Let's look right now. The Giants, they're not. The Titans would trade out.
It's going to be the Raiders.
The Raiders would take him.
I think if I'm predicting right now, I think the Raiders either get the first overall pick, which is absolutely still, like, if they lose, when do they play?
They're playing now.
They're playing right now. Who are they playing?
Broncos.
They're going to lose that game. Well, knowing the Broncos, they'll be winning that game.
They have the number 2 pick.
The Raiders will be winning that game with 5 seconds left, and somehow the Broncos will still win it, knowing how the Broncos work. But the Raiders, assuming they lose that game, will have the number 2 overall pick. I think the Giants are winning another game this year. Like, they have to. They play
the Commanders. They play.
Yeah, their schedule is so easy down the stretch. Like, and they
play the Commanders, the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. They're winning one.
Giants Raiders is wow. That's now
that's week 17.
Yeah, and
that might be the Mendoza Bowl.
You got what? Jets Saints week 16, and then Giants Raiders week 17.
And Washington Giants before that. So
right. So a lot of tank balls going on. Obviously, we had the Browns Titans today. I think right now, the Raiders can do everything they can to get Mendoza. And I think while the Jets are going to have more draft capital to trade up, the Raiders are. I don't think the Raiders pick lower than 3. Like, Jets fans should be rooting so hard for Vegas to beat Denver today. It's not going to happen, most likely. But if they do, that's absolutely massive, because I think the Raiders are the Jets' biggest threats.
Broncos just had a punt return touchdown as you said that. So
Raiders, bro.
That ain't happening.
They just can't get out of their own way. Oh my God.
Yeah. Don't hire your sons to be assistant coaches unless they're Kyle Shanahan, which they are not.
But the Raiders and the Browns are the 2 teams there. They're going to go for a quarterback. You would assume New Orleans doesn't at this stage. You would assume the Giants and Titans don't.
I guess the question for the Browns, though, is like, what if with their top pick, they go, let's not take the quarterback. Let's take BPA or the best tackle available, and then maybe they get Simpson later.
I just don't think Simpson's in the draft.
If he's in the draft,
sure.
I feel like a lot of mock draft guys and stuff are operating under the assumption he's going to be in the draft.
I don't think they should. But yeah, maybe they could do that. The Jets could also do that as well, like where they just don't take a quarterback. Like I am very interested to see. It's going to come down to these evaluations. Like, it's going to come down to how each of these teams evaluate it. The only team I feel very confident is definitely taking a quarterback is the Raiders. Like, they're going to be in position to do it. They might not even have to trade up, to be honest. They realistically might not have to trade up. They might get the first overall pick. And if the Raiders get the first overall pick, yeah, you could say goodbye to Fernando Mendoza. They are almost certainly going to draft him with that pick, and the Jets are not going to have a chance there. So you really want Dante Moore to declare. You really want the Raiders to win one of these games. Tennessee beating Cleveland today sucked, because it means that now the Raiders have a chance to get that top pick, and the Browns lost.
I just looked at their schedule. The Raiders aren't winning any more games.
Who else are they playing?
The Eagles, the Texans, the Giants, and the Chiefs.
Oh, they need to be the Giants. They need to be oh God, they need to be the Giants. So
they're not winning any more of those games.
Oh God,
the Eagles and Texans are on the road too.
All right, bro. Mendoza's going to Mendoza. Dude, Mendoza's personality getting dropped in Las Vegas is so funny.
Or the Jets could have a second, because Raiders fans are honestly having a lot of the same conversations Jets fans are having right now, where do you just take BPA and then go somewhere else? Because the
I think
Raiders,
they take a quarterback.
1-53 may have the worst roster in the league, even with like Brock Bowers and stuff.
It's really bad.
So you could sell them on like, I don't know, get Caleb Downs or a lineman or this or that, and then
Well, they're not drafting Caleb Downs first overall.
Well, I mean, if they top 5. Here's another idea I want to throw at you.
It would be one of the edge rush. It would be like Arvell Reese or maybe not even Ruben. Dane Brugler having Keldrick Falk going ahead of Ruben Bain is certainly something. I was surprised about that.
What if the Jets do this? What if they just go BPA in the first 2 rounds, and then with their second round pick, they get like Jaden Maiava?
I don't know how much I love that.
I guess the Saints are the blueprint with that with Chuck now. He's actually looking okay.
It depends. If you really like Maiava, then you could do it. But if you like a quarterback that much, like you probably just take him first round at that point. You take him with that Colts pick. I think if they love him that much that they want to draft him, they got to just draft him at wherever the Colts are picking, and they're not going to have to sweat it out hoping that he falls to them. Or maybe it's a situation where because they have 2 second-round picks. Maybe they do a Giants, right? And they trade back up into the first round. And you end up in a situation like you did in 2022 where the Jets have 3 first-round picks because they trade back. How crazy would that be if they have 3 first-round picks in consecutive seasons? I don't think that's ever happened in NFL history.
And they're still not going to do anything with them.
Okay. All right. Every once in a while, the
I'm
negative.
just leaning on history here, man. I'm making educated guesses.
Hey, they hit on the 2022 picks. Didn't matter, but they hit on them.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Mattering in terms of, actually winning games because they don't do enough
quarterback. You just need the quarterback. So if they're trading back in, I think that would be more likely than just letting, like, how often do you see a team just, like, did the Saints let Shuck fall to them and just take him? I guess they probably
they took Shuck way higher than people thought he would go, but.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, it's
they
just
picked Kelvin Banks in the first round.
Maiava is getting like fringe round 1 hype, and I wouldn't be shocked if he rises into round 1 consideration by the end of the draft process, just because of the scarcity in this class. And I forget who made this interesting point, but so many of those non-first round quarterbacks are like outside of the top 3, right? If you still want to include Simpson in there, so many of those guys are just quarterbacks who underperformed this year, right? As opposed to rising prospects.
Sellers, Mateer.
They're falling prospects. Sellers, Mateer, Nussmeier are like those, the poster boys for that, where it's like these 3 could have been top 10 picks, but their stock has fallen. Even Aller, right? Who's not going to probably be a day 2 guy, or if he is, he's late day 2, but he's a faller as well. Maiava's the only guy who's in that range who's really a riser, right? At this stage, unless you're saying like a Brendan Sorsby or whoever, but I don't think he's going to be in that consideration.
No, he might go back to school.
I agree. Well, I also think like Sellers and Mateer could go back to school too. But that's like
Sellers, if he goes back, I think is going to be him and Sain are going to go 1-2 next year. I think he's going to leave South Carolina and go to like USC or something like that.
Well, there's also Arch.
And he's not 1 or 2 right now. He's probably 3 of that class.
Maybe. Well, I would put him ahead of Sellers. I can't buy into it with Sellers until I actually see him do it. Like, it's just.
Well, he did it a lot last year. He just hasn't been able to do it as much this year.
He did it in spurts last year. I would like to see him do it more consistently, and obviously it was a bad situation for him, but I need to see more from Lenore Sellers before I'm putting him ahead of. I would put Arch ahead of Lenore Sellers right now for 2027. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Miami.
So are you drifting away from Matt D? Where do they find this coach incompetent? Get the hell out of here.
What an incompetent is how he phrased it.
What an incompetent, yeah. What a great speller you are. Now,
well, I think Anyway, go on.
It seems like from this conversation, you're drifting away from build up the roster, get a bridge guy, quarterback in 2027. It seems like you're more on they need a young guy this year.
I mean, that's always been my preference. I just don't know if they're going to be in a position where they could do it, right? Like if the Jets are picking 7th and you need to trade up to 1, it just comes down to how much do you value Fernando Mendoza? Because you're going to have to give up that Colts pick, and you're probably giving up one of your 1s next year to do it, right? Or maybe both one of your 2s this year and something else, a 2 next year. Like you're giving up a ton of assets. Like think of the Bryce Young trade with the Panthers and Bears. The Panthers moved up from 9.
How'd that work out?
Right. The Panthers moved up from 9 to 1. They gave up
DJ Moore,
a pick that ended up being Caleb Williams, a pick that ended up being Darnell Wright, a pick that ended up being Tyreek Stevenson, and DJ Moore. That is it's just so much to get Bryce Young. So if you are moving up all of that for Fernando Mendoza, you have to know he's the guy. And I'll say
you
this
do
about
that
Mendoza.
if you're the GM? If the Jets pick 7 and Mendoza's going 1.
It's really tough. That's a really tough question to ask me here right
Well,
now.
you
Would
got
I
to
give
make
up?
these
All right,
decisions.
give me the Jets scenario. What are the Jets giving up? What are they giving up?
A haul. I don't want to say because that went 9-1 was.
So let's just say they're picking 7th. And say the Colts miss the playoffs. They pick 18th.
Okay, so the Jets have 7 and 18.
Yep.
And then they have the Cowboys miss the playoffs too, so that's where their second round pick is.
Okay. So you have 4 top 50.
Exactly. One, the Giants or whoever get the number 1 pick.
Okay.
Or the Titans get the number 1 pick.
Sure. The team that's not the Raiders.
Not the Raiders, yeah.
So what am I giving up?
I'm saying, would you just hypothetically make this decision? Would you be?
Well, I would call them. I would absolutely try to trade up. It just depends on what they're asking.
18, probably one of the 2s. I think you probably have to give up a 2 next year.
If it's 18, a 2 this year and a 2 next year, I would consider that. I would consider that. I really like Mendoza at this stage. I think the floor for him is what sells me, because I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I don't know how good, but I think he's an NFL quarterback, and I think if you put him as a week 1 starter next year, he does not look out of place. And by the end of his 2nd or 3rd year in the league, I think he's a good player. Like, I think he's a top 20 quarterback by that stage.
Well, now
I don't know how much better than that he'll be. I don't think he has Josh Allen's ceiling. I don't think he has Justin Herbert's ceiling. I don't think he has Drake May's ceiling. But the Jets just, like, I would give a lot for the Jets to have a top 15 young quarterback on a rookie contract right now. And I think that's just, if you're looking at this regime, right, and it's in their thinking, obviously they want to win games, but it's also, as every regime is thinking, how do we last as long as we can in this current position, right? You have to hit on a quarterback. And if you hit on a guy, even if it's, the 15th best quarterback in the league, that's all you need in New York, right? For the Jets, that you are getting
lifetime contract.
Yeah, you're getting a lifetime contract if you hit on a rookie contract that is the 14th best quarterback in the NFL. And I think Mendoza can absolutely be that, right? Like, I think high end, if we're just looking at NFL careers, a best case scenario outcome is like a Matt Ryan career for Fernando Mendoza. If you get that out of him, awesome, amazing. Slam dunk, obvious.
You know who you reminds me of a little
up.
bit? This a little bit. He reminds me a lot of Carson Palmer.
Sure. This is a gunslinger mentality. With
big guy, like, he moves a little bit better than Carson Palmer, but I think that might be the comp.
Not afraid to chuck it.
Too, man. He was
Absolutely.
So underrated.
Yeah. I was impressed with Mendoza on Saturday. I thought he obviously got off to a rough start, but absolutely made some plays when he needed to. And the arm talent is clearly there with him. And he's not as immobile, I think, as he's made out to be. Like, clearly it's never going to be a strength of his game, but he can move. He can move against college defenses. We'll see how much he's able to do that in the pros when guys are just so fast. But playing against that defense, that Ohio State defense is as close as you're going to get to an NFL defense in college. Like that they play, they run an NFL style.
Downs, those are all first round guys.
They run an NFL scheme.
On the corner.
Yep. They run an NFL scheme led by a former NFL head coach and NFL defensive coordinator. They have 4 guys on that defense who are going to be first round picks this year. 4 just this year. Just talking about this year, you have Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, who are top 10 picks. You have Sonny Styles and Caden McDonald, who are first round players. You have a couple of edge rushers on that.
Caden Curry is going to be a first rounder next year.
Caden Curry is going to be he might is he eligible this year?
I think he's going back. I think.
Yeah, because he'd probably be a day 2 guy. Kenyatta Jackson could be a day 2 guy this year if he comes out. Like, you have just, and what's the corner's name again?
Davis Ndubino's son.
Thank you. Yes, I can never pronounce the name. You have so much talent on that defense, and I thought he stepped up to the occasion and did
that
what
throw
he
at the end.
Yes,
now,
and like
I will say though, Justin,
not look too big for him.
You know who was great in the college football playoff and in big games like that? Justin Fields.
Yeah,
6 touchdowns in the playoff game. So
Justin Fields was also playing with much cleaner pockets than Mendoza had, though. I'll say that too.
Yes, but like,
obviously, of course.
I don't think necessarily like I've never been as big a fan of you were in the season as Simpson. I think I was always more on Moore, but
yeah,
like, I don't want to bury the guy because I don't think anybody in Alabama played well in that game offensively.
I think even before that game, he was trending towards going.
I think
back.
He was just stabilizing. I don't think he was regressing though. I think he got a little too high and then he kind of found his level again.
Maybe. We'll see, because we are fortunate because all three of these quarterbacks are in the college football playoff. All three of them will be playing high leverage football games. Now, granted, Dante Moore is playing
Mac
James
Jones
Madison
also
to
won
start.
it, so you got to be careful of these
Of
things.
Of course. But these are the evaluations you need. You want to see these guys in high leverage situations. You want to see them against the best defenses that college football has to offer, because otherwise you're going to end up in a Zach Wilson situation where, he's playing Coastal Carolina.
Well, that was the thing for Mendoza, was he didn't really play anybody, but
I know. Well, now he just played
comparatively. I mean, he beat Oregon and Penn State on the road, but
I mean, especially Oregon. That's a damn good win right there.
Now, here's the other scenario, though, Justin.
By the way, Florio, Pro Football Talk, officially reporting that Daniel Jones has a torn Achilles.
Oh, man.
Was expected.
And then if that goes into next year, too, because he's going to miss probably the start of next
year. That'll be about a 9-month recovery. Probably he probably misses maybe the first game of the year, unless he like Rodgers is it, right, and tries to come back quickly, which maybe he does. But that also, because he's a free agent.
He's
oh man, dude, what is it?
Why did he play him with a broken leg?
What do you even do? Yeah, with the fractured fibula. Yeah, what do you do if you're Indy?
They're bringing him back.
No, I know, but what kind of contract?
I'm going to say probably a 2-year deal, where
that just cost him so much money.
Probably a 2-year deal. I'd say a lot of it is tied to how much he plays in year 1, and then I think it's going to be like, if you hit these things, then year 2 kicks in, kind of thing.
Man, that sucks so much.
And how about Anthony Richardson couldn't have asked for a better chance, then he's hurt because of a freak injury.
Well, because of the stupid
the band snapped to hit him in the eye.
Right, because of pre-game. Like, what even is that?
Some guys just don't have black cats running around.
And now it's Riley Leonard time.
Here's the other scenario. The Jets are picking 7th, let's say 7th and 18th again, just for keeping it easy.
Yeah.
Mendoza's off the board. The team picking number 3 overall does not need a quarterback. Do you move up for Dante Moore?
Depends on what you're giving up. Depends on how Moore does down the stretch here.
Let's say he performs.
I like the upside
about right in the middle of how he's performed for most of the year. Doesn't dominate, doesn't regress like Simpson. You're probably giving up only 1 second rounder and then 18.
So you're moving up from 7 to 3.
7 to 3. Would you do that for Moore?
You're giving up 18 and a second rounder. It's a lot.
It is a lot, but what else is going to be a lot? The pain if they don't have a quarterback.
He's one of those. I would do it.
You would do it? Okay.
Dante Moore is one of those quarterbacks where you don't have and this is, I kind of said this a little bit about Ty Simpson too, where you don't have the experience that you'd want from a top level quarterback prospect, but the things that are usually missing from a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of experience, I think he does fairly well already. Like, he does at a high enough level that I can project that if he gets better at those, he's an NFL quarterback and could be a high level NFL quarterback.
I think the Jets too are going to recalibrate based on how bad the Fields experiment went. I think they're going to really prioritize pocket movement and getting the ball out quick in their next quarterback. And Dante Moore, I think those are 2 of his best traits. Is he gets the ball out quick. He got a whip of an arm, which is very good velocity, even though he's kind of a skinnier quarterback. And what I've really liked, he doesn't even really run a lot, but he just stays and moves around and takes hits. And
he's very comfortable in the pocket, which, again...
Did Justin Fields do that once with the Jets? Stay in the pocket, step up to avoid pressure, and throw the ball? Or did he run and scramble?
Well, because that is a mistake that so many young quarterbacks make, and it is extremely encouraging to see Dante Moore be as refined in that area as he already is.
Part of it, Fields and Sellers does this too, but part of it is when you're that big and you're that fast, they tell you
when you're that.
Like Josh Allen does that all the time because it works for him.
No. Dante Moore is not the athlete. Moore is not the athlete that Fields or Sellers are. That's partially why, like, when you look at Shador and he does that a lot and he drifts back, he does not have the athleticism to overcome that. And
although he was really good today.
He was.
Philibongo, if they draft Moore, I hope they have him sit and learn for the first couple months.
Yeah, I don't think he's a week 1 starter. I don't think he would start week 1. He would be, when does he turn 21, Dante Moore? I think he's 20 on draft.
Here's the problem, though. Everybody always says, like, draft and develop, though. Like, remember the Giants, Dart was going to be the 3rd string guy? And then pretty much every time they've said we're going to draft a guy, you get like 4 or 5 weeks in even, not that much time. And then eventually they go to the kid anyway. And actually, Dart's been very good. So everybody will go into the season saying, oh, we got to go and let him learn. But Practically, when's the last, like Jordan Love, I guess, is the last, and that's because they had Aaron Rodgers, where it was
because you have an established quarterback.
yeah, like when's the last time that a team had a bridge or fringe starting quarterback? They drafted a guy high and they said we're going to sit him, and then they actually sat him. I feel like they always say that because they want to make him earn it, but then they always end up playing early anyway.
Because what happens is you run into a situation where either you have an injury, or generally if you're picking top of the, if you're picking early in the draft and you're drafting a quarterback, you likely don't have a very good starter already. So there's a good chance you're going into the year with a bad starting quarterback in a not great offense. Eventually, you're probably going to give way to the rookie if you think they're ready. And that would be the case with the Jets too. I don't think Dante Moore would start week 1. I think the Jets would pair him with whoever. Maybe they even pair him with Tyrod. I don't know. I think there's still a world where Tyrod comes back. It's just the injuries are just really hard to overcome with him. But if it wasn't for the injuries, I would be advocating for Tyrod to be back. I think
he might retire. I think this might be it for him.
You think so?
What else does he have to play for? He had a long, very successful career. 6th round pick. He's been in the league 15 years.
Did you see his quote? He was asked about that last week, and he dropped another banger of a quote. This has been an awesome year for
quotes.
Like this, it's not been a very memorable season in a lot of ways for the Jets. I'm going to remember this season as an
Who want to fly with them Jets is elite, though.
So Tyrod was asked about his NFL future. He told reporters, "I'm in the moment, man. Tomorrow's not born. Yesterday's dead." Bro.
And that's kind of, is that a Grateful Dead lyric or something?
I don't know. It's a banger of a quote. I
think they said that in Scarlet Begonias, I think.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a Grateful Dead. It's one of their better songs, Justin.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm not a deadhead. Sorry to the deadheads out there. I'm not a deadhead.
Before we go off, though, to gut feeling, week 1, 2026, the Jets starter and backup quarterback are.
Oh, jeez, man.
Gut check.
I don't know. I think Mendoza's going to Vegas. I really think Mendoza's going to Vegas. Maybe they like Dante Moore enough to trade up for him, but I still don't know if he's going to declare. So I'm not going to say either of the young quarterbacks, and I'm not going to say Simpson because I don't think he's in the draft. So that leaves me with who? That leaves me with Kyler. It leaves me with Mariota. It leaves me with options like
Brissett, I guess.
Brissett, but he's in Arizona next year. They'd have to trade for him. He's under contract.
I think maybe if they're doing that, they may get Ty Simpson and then just kind of start over because new coach is probably coming in too if they get rid of Gannon.
Maybe. I don't know, man. Marcus Mariota. That's not fun. I don't want that. I don't want that.
I don't know.
Shame. I think the Giants might just bring him back. It depends what his market is. If he's getting like starting opportunities, then yeah. But they love him as a backup in New York. I know that. I don't know.
It just seems very antithetical to what how Aaron Glenn wants to run his offense.
Maybe, you know what, man? Maybe they do go the Maeva route. Maybe they love Maeva. Maybe his draft stock, it's December. Maybe by the time we get to April, Maeva's stock has risen and he's considered an early 2nd round pick or like a late 1st round pick, and the Jets trade back into the 1st round and they draft him. I can see that happening. And I would be intrigued by, what do you think of Maeva? You've watched him more than me. I'm intrigued by him.
You're getting the problem I have, and this is going to sound weird because so many of Lincoln Riley's got Kyler, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So many of them have been good in the NFL, Jalen Hurts, but the scheme is just not, it's not all like Baylor timing, but they go downfield a lot, but they don't run a lot of like quote unquote pro concepts a lot. Big guy, arms there.
Yep.
You're really not getting a ton of mobility with him. And there are some moments he has a little bit of Trevor Lawrence syndrome where if he makes a bad play, then he's like, oh, now I got to make a great play to make up for it. And then he makes a worse one. He's got a little bit of that, but you can coach that out of him. Really, he's had he was the starter for 2 years before. He had a year at UNLV and then he was at USC as a backup and then he became the starter next year. Mm-hmm. Before this year, he wasn't like dominant. Like he was good at UNLV and he was okay at USC. And this year he broke out. So you got to weigh that against, is this just because he has Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane and Lincoln Riley?
Sure.
Or is this because he's breaking out? I think firmly if Sellers goes back, because honestly, I think even with Simpson struggling, I think Sellers is more likely to go back than Simpson right now. I think if Sellers goes back, I think he's QB4. I think there's a chance that I think he would be a really good guy for like the Rams to pick with their 1st round pick and just develop behind Stafford. But I think he he might be the only quarterback that I would take right now on day 2. Because
Yeah.
Mateer struggled a lot and he's been hurt. Brendan
And
Sorsby, I think, is
Mateer,
going back. Darian Mensah, I
Mateer's
think,
got
has
to go
made some
back.
plays, but I think he goes back too.
Mateer's got to go back. He just got to stay. He's got to get healthy. He's got to have a
Yeah, his
healthy
hand was
season.
all messed up, and
Yeah, he's got to have a healthy year. Mateer has to go back. Yeah, I got to watch more of Mayava. I watched him some against Oregon, and that was not his best game by any means. I remember him struggling in that one, but it's also Oregon's defense.
I mean, he was okay. I mean, that was like week.
Yeah.
No, that was the end of the year, but like
that was towards the end of the year.
Here's the thing, though. He has 23 touchdowns and 8 picks, right? Which okay numbers. 6 of them, however, came actually. Yeah, well, I guess this is a rivalry game, but 8 of them came against UCLA, who were terrible, Georgia Southern, and Missouri State.
8 of the touchdowns?
8 of the 23. So a third of them came against Missouri State, Georgia Southern, and terrible UCLA.
He also, I'm looking at PFF here. He has 8 interceptions, but 18 turnover-worthy plays. So you could argue he's gotten a little lucky there.
But his QBR is number 1 in the country on ESPN. So
yeah, QBR.
There's that.
Whatever.
He makes enough. Like he can make some plays with his legs. He did lose to Notre Dame and he lost to Illinois, but he beat Michigan. He beat Iowa, which is tough for that defense.
Yeah, he was really good against Iowa.
Yeah, he as good as Dante Moore's. I think Mayava was better against Iowa than he was. So I'm really talking myself into like
he's an interesting case. I wouldn't hate it. I really wouldn't.
I think I think he's got a higher ceiling than Simpson because he's bigger too.
Yeah. The issue, if you go the Mayava route, is it's opportunity cost. If you are trading back into the first round to take Mayava, because I think they would do that. I don't think they would just let
get that 50-year option too.
Yeah, exactly. I also think I want to point out this because of the success of Jackson Dart this year. I think some team is doing that with Mayava or one. Maybe if Sellers does declare, like shockingly, then yeah, maybe a team does it with him, right? But I think some quarterback is going back half of the first round this year. Maybe it's Simpson if he declares, right? I just think because of the success of Jackson Dart team and even Jordan Love, like teams are going to kind of look to do that. What was I saying about
Mayava?
Oh, the opportunity cost. Yeah. If you take Mayava this year, you're just not taking a quarterback next year. And next year could be a really good quarterback class. We don't know, but you have 3 first-round picks. You have, a ton of ammunition that if next year is a quarterback class, a really good quarterback class, or just if you really love a quarterback next year, you have all the flexibility and capital to do it. But you're just not going to do that if you take Mayava.
I got the plan.
Like, that's an opportunity cost.
You get Kyler, and you take Mayava in the second round anyway.
Oh, man, that's a lot. It's a lot invested in a quarterback.
I'd rather invest a lot there than anywhere else.
You'd probably still be in a situation where you're just not drafting a quarterback next year. If you get Kyler, because that's probably Kyler, if you trade for him, it's a 2-year commitment. If he's released, which that is also very much an option. He absolutely could be released. And then you sign him. It depends on what contract you're signing him to. It might end up just being a 2-year deal anyway.
That's right. I think it could. And I think most teams in the league, I think that's as far as they'll go as far as commitment.
If you can get Kyler for, like, if he's released, which there's a very good chance he is, if he's released and you can get him for 2 years, $50 million, I'd probably do that. I'd probably strongly consider that. And I would not have a reservation or like a major issue with the Jets doing that if they don't think they can get Mendoza or more, and they don't want to give up all the assets required to get there, and they want to remain in the quarterback picture for 2027 while also bringing in, again, this is just an elevated version of the Justin Fields experiment. You're bringing in a high upside bridge starter, but you're doing this with a guy who, at his best, has been a borderline top 10 quarterback. Like the best version of Kyler Murray with Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona was a borderline top 10 quarterback. When he's at his best, he's been that. He's just 29 now. He's dealt with some injuries. He hasn't played his best football in years.
Some concerns about how he handles himself.
Yeah,
but again, we have no idea how founded those things are.
That would also be a situation where Aaron Glenn has to evaluate how Kyler Murray fits into what they want, right? Their culture.
I will say this. Who do you think is more capable of laying down the law with Kyler? Aaron Glenn or Jonathan Gannon?
Jonathan Gannon or Cliff Kingsbury. Yes, I agree it would be Glenn. And you know what? The more I'm talking about it now, the more you know what? I'll predict this, Mike. I think Kyler Murray, if I'm guessing right now, I'll say Kyler Murray is the week 1 starter for the Jets. I don't feel confident about that at all. I don't think they're all plus odds. All these quarterbacks, like Kyler might be plus 400, but I think that might be the best odds of any of the quarterbacks right now, but it's just so early.
I think I'm more into that looking at kind of around the league. I don't think there's anyone right now. Because Kyler Murray's probably a top 20 quarterback in the league. I don't think anyone would give him a deal longer than 2 years. So
It's
because of that, you're not
yeah.
tied to him.
It's the best of every scenario because if you're not drafting a quarterback this year, or you don't want to give up all the assets required to draft the quarterback, then you want to maintain the flexibility to draft one in 2027. But you also don't want to go into this year with Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, right? You don't want to go into 2026 knowing that you have just a terrible quarterback situation. Kyler gives you the best of both worlds, where there's upside that Kyler could work out. Again, it's remarkably similar to the conversation we had last offseason when we knew the Jets moved on from Rodgers and we were talking about Justin.
But Kyler is a much better.
Kyler's just better, right? Kyler's better, but it is, and I get why fans will have a negative reaction. Like I've seen some visceral reactions, and my immediate thought when I thought of Kyler, I was like, no, I don't want that. But just the more time passes, the more you realize it might end up being the best scenario for the Jets if they're not trading up for one of the top quarterbacks. Again, I want to make it clear, plan A for me would still be trade up for Mendoza. I just don't know what it's going to cost. And if it costs you, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a player,
no way.
I just don't think you could do that. I really don't think you could do that. I don't think it would cost that because I think part of the reason the Panthers had to give up that much for Bryce was, it was considered to be a pretty good
owner syndrome too.
Yeah, and it was considered to be a pretty good quarterback class. But you're just not. I don't think it'll cost that much for Mendoza. But if it's costing too much, Kyler's not a bad fallback in my opinion.
There's worse you could do, as we've seen.
Absolutely, yeah, we saw that this year. There's definitely worse you could do.
One last thing before we sign off: if he declares Jets don't trade up, they're there at 7. Moore and Mendoza are gone. Simpson's there.
I'm not taking Simpson at this
Straight
stage.
up not taking him. A week ago, I think you would have taken him.
I know, not a week ago. Like 3 weeks ago, maybe. But I think he needs to go back to school. I really don't think he should be in this draft. I even more so than Moore, he would need to sit for if he goes in this draft and he goes to the Rams with that later first round pick, that's a good spot for him. I don't think the expectations of I think it would not be good to have those expectations on him in New York. I just don't think it'd be a good idea. But we'll see. That could change.
Quarterbacks though, Alabama and Mexican quarterbacks are the only, or Latin American quarterbacks because Mendoza's Cuban. So yeah. So
it could change.
We need one of those.
Again, this could change if Simpson balls out against. They play Oklahoma. Who are they playing? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Yeah, if he balls out against Oklahoma and then goes into Georgia, is it? Do they play
again? Hold on.
Or no, it's Ohio State, I think, right? Because it's 8.
Let me see. By the way, how about
it'd be Indiana? No, it'd be Indiana, right?
It would be Ohio State.
Oh, it'd be Indiana. Oh, it'd be Ohio State.
At OhioTate, which
so who plays? Who does Indiana play?
The winner of. Wait a minute. No, that would be. I was looking at the wrong thing because college football stinks.
Yeah, because
By the way, do you see that thing now? Because Notre Dame got left out this year. They signed a memo of understanding, whatever it is, where they said if they are ranked in the top 12 next year, they have to be in automatically.
What?
That they signed that after this year because they're not in this year. So
who reads that? Who they signed that? Who the NCAA approved that?
With Notre Dame saying next year, no matter what happens, if you're in the top 12, you're in Notre Dame.
That is insane.
Because they don't have a conference, so they can never win a conference championship. So
I understand traditionalism with college football, and it's one of the.
I hate college football.
Look, I love that. Traditionalism is what partially makes college football
better than this crap.
Listen, traditionalism is partially what makes college football cool. Traditions are really awesome in college football. I get it. Just college sports in general. Notre Dame's got to join the conference, bro. I don't give it. Get them in a conference.
We're in the ACC for everything else.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what, Mike? You know what's funny about all this?
They would have won the ACC this year.
Exactly. If they were in the ACC this year, they fucking
Okay, yeah, they would have played Indiana. They will play Indiana if they win. It's not at Indiana though. It's in the Rose Bowl. So
if Alabama wins, they play Indiana.
They go to the Rose Bowl and play Indiana.
Let's go Alabama. Give me Ty Simpson versus Fernando Mendoza.
Finally end this once and for all.
Give me Mendoza against that Bama defense.
And then Oregon gets James Madison. If they win, then they go play Texas Tech and my sleeper quarterback this year, Baron Morton.
He's in this draft.
I think he's like a 5th-year senior, so I think he has to be.
He has to be. Fair enough. I don't want to see Oklahoma. I'm rooting for Bama hard in that game because I want to see Mendoza against the Bama defense.
What if Mateer just goes crazy though?
I don't think Mateer's in this draft. I really don't. I think he goes back.
I think he goes back. I think if he goes crazy in the playoff, he goes in.
Maybe.
And kind of rides the wave.
Maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would much rather see Simpson do well than Mateer in the playoff.
With that, I think we're going to call time on this Jets podcast. Hard to remember they played a football game today, but Brady Cook had to play on drive number 3. So in terms of long-term evaluations, it's mostly just quarterback talk because I don't think Brady Cook is going to be the guy who fixes the Jets, and I don't think a lot of the players they had to play on defense in this game are going to be the ones who fix the Jets. So all we can do is say, boy, that was a bad game, some rotten luck, and look forward to next week when they play the Jaguars.
That we do. Yeah, man. We barely even talked about this game, so I don't even.
What do you say? Brady Cook stinks. There you go.
We will be just like the Jets are in full evaluation mode for the rest of the year. We are also in full evaluation mode for the rest of the year. Also, we will not be streaming on Wednesday. Thursday. You're good with Thursday, right?
Yes.
Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will be live. Wednesday, I will be out of town. So we will be pushing it to Thursday, and we'll be talking probably more big picture stuff, probably more Jets, more draft stuff. I'm really excited for this, college football playoff, because that's going to give us even more content to talk about down the stretch. Again, I'm just so thrilled that all the top quarterbacks in this draft we will likely be seeing, except for Mayava, I guess, we will be seeing in the college football playoff in high leverage situations.
And technically, and Sellers.
And no.
I think if he declares, somebody's going to pick him pretty high.
Yeah, I don't think he declares. Yeah. If Arch declares, someone's picking him high too, but I don't think Arch declares, But anyway, thank you all for joining us on the show today. You can follow Mike on Twitter at @ByMichaelChon. Follow me on Twitter, Justin T. Fried. Follow Jet Press on the Jet Press. Download the Jet Press podcast wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys know what to do. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Except this one.
Except this one. We'll be streaming live Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, we stream live after every single Jets game. Thank you all for listening to Jet Press Podcast. I've been Justin Fried. That is Mike Luciano. See you guys next time.
Hopefully, we don't have to keep talking about 3-10 seasons in 2026 and beyond.